their children bad because they look like the other half. So
I do think like your 20s is your adventurous time. Having kids, it's always by default as a child, you're already taking care of some other child, some other person, your siblings, whatever the case is.
Hey guys, I'm sitting here with Moyin. She is in media production. Please introduce yourself because I think I'm doing a terrible job of it.
No, I think that's right. Firstly, my makeup is done by Ghislaine. Check out her Instagram. I don't know, I think it's going to be on your Instagram.
It's going to be on my Instagram and then it's also going to be on my new makeup page.
Hey, on the makeup page. Her TikTok's still the thing. So she did this face. It's like
look at this. I'm going to show this slow-mo.
Green eye. Okay, cool. So yes, my name is Moyin. I'm Moyin Oloruntoba and I run a media content creation business. Yes, that is me.
And she's a creative. I mean, you're like a perfect balance, academia and creative.
I think so because my father's entire side is very academia and my mom's entire side is very business, and they both have like creatives.
Yeah. My sister's the same. So today's video we're doing 20s versus 30s. This is part 1 with Moyin. Things you didn't know then that you know now.
Okay.
And things to look out for. Just a chit chat with you guys. So the girls in the teens, I just say, y'all go moisturize in the meantime, put on your sunblock. That's what you need to do. Don't traumatize yourself with those boyfriends. So yeah.
Yes, I think that not unnecessary. I do think like your 20s is your adventurous time, and it should be adventurous, but like with boundaries, so that you don't derail your life.
Yeah, because it can easily go pew.
Very much.
I feel like there was times when I was easily on the cusp of cube. You know what I mean? One thing I've learned from, do you know this lady's channel? It's called Fumi Nation. Anyway,
it sounds familiar, but I can't. She's just coming up.
Yeah, she's a 55-year-old YouTuber, and I think when I'm very successful. When I think about it, I think you don't realize how often you inherit the societal limitations, friend limitation, family limitation, because baby families do have limitations too. My point is, I'll really sit with myself and have quiet moments with myself and actually hear my voice, which is, in my opinion, God's voice.
Yeah. And
then see where that's coming from, why this perception of myself is in me, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think one has to take the time to like really surround themselves with what their desires of life is. So you can't maybe position yourself around people, but like online, like choosing carefully like the kind of world you want to create, because we can really create our world. But that's only if you're spending time doing things and like being not an introvert, but like introspecting.
Yes.
And taking time to say, what do I really want for myself, not what the family wants for me, not what other people want for me. And I think once you can do that, it's easier to then see the kind of life that you want, the kind of path you want to create for yourself, and then go after it.
Do you have like a moment where you were like sitting with yourself that was so prominent and was a life like changing?
30 for me was 30.
Wait, what happened? Were you sitting?
Well, my year was pandemic. I turned 30 in the pandemic.
Yes, pandemic 30s.
So I think that was then, but also like end of 29, I was just like, I think one thing I've been really good at is I definitely go after my dreams. But then if I am on my way to achieving a dream that I had set out for myself, and I see somebody else living in that dream, and I see the reality of that dream, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want that. I can quickly like
you can make adjustments.
Yeah. So I think for me, 30 was like, okay, I'm turning 30. What have I seen? Also, my 20s, I really went for things. I really tried. I fully lived life.
No, you did.
And so I was around a lot of people, a variety of people, and I could see what I liked, what I didn't like, and then also just prayer, because like you can't predict life. It's only God.
Life is always lifing.
It's always life.
It's taking a short left and then
Yeah.
Driver! I said short left, but then
So true.
you know. I remember my introspective moment, like that was life changing, was 26, and I had dumped a bunch of people out of my life. Like I didn't even dump there. I think like there was, you know, when God just starts taking them out.
Yeah.
Like you become too busy to hang out. You are working too much. Every time I wanted to hang out, a job will come. Something will come. So it became weeks, and then that time made it clear, like, wait, like, why am I feeling better without same person? Why am I feeling better without A, B, and C? Maybe, like my heart. And I was like, no. And it's like that moment where it's like God speaking to you. And I literally heard him say, I've been waiting for you to come to the senses. And then words come to you, my child. But you know, like sometimes you are too in it to see.
Yeah.
On your own space. Like if you're too in people's spaces, it's very hard to have like an introspective self-actualization moment.
Yeah.
Gift yourself time to yourself.
Yeah.
You make time to go to people's birthdays, people's brides, people's parties. I hope that I learned that I need to pour into myself.
Yeah. Did you live alone in your 20s?
Yeah, I lived with my sister.
No, did you ever live alone?
No, not alone.
Yeah, I did in my 20s, but now I live by myself.
How are you finding it?
I think for me it was a good thing because I think there's just certain things of life you're like, oh, okay, I get to design what I want in my space, how my world runs. And I think it's been...
How has that been?
It's been nice, but it was weird at first. Like, you have so much time with yourself, first of all. And so you start, like, the introspection, you start thinking of things. But even little things like how I want to furnish my apartment, how I want things to be done. Like, I have complete control over it, which is good and it's good, but it's bad. Yeah, you have to be careful. Like, hyper-independence is not a good thing.
Yeah. Hyper-independence is not a good thing. That's another topic.
Yeah, it is. It's not a good thing. And so I think for me, it's like, okay, like, for example, I'm not a big cook, personally. I'm not, it's not my strength.
What's your idea of a big cook? Because people that say that, I don't understand what they mean.
I don't enjoy cooking. So my mom loves cooking.
Yeah.
Like, I always give this example. My mom woke up one day and she was like, I feel like bagels. See, me, I'll just not even go and buy. I wouldn't leave my house. I'll get it ordered in. My mom woke up and made bagels from scratch.
Please tell your mom she gave up a child for adoption and she's living in Howard Bay and she loves bagels.
And so, like, for me, I meal prep. On a Sunday, if I'm good, on a Sunday, 2-3 hours, then I'm done. I must be done cooking for the week. It's just warming up after that. Like, it's not something I enjoy. And I had to meal prep because I realized that, like, if I don't have ready-made food, I'll just be ordering out.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you can do in your 20s. And even then, it's like, you're pushing it. You can't be ordering eating out of the box, going to restaurants 24/7. Everything you do in your 30s, and maybe even younger, you're gonna, it's gonna come collect.
Yes.
Yeah, the diabetes, those strokes. Like, I think a lot of us discard the gift of honoring our bodies as like being a sad thing. I hate when people be like, don't feel guilty. You mustn't feel guilty, but I feel you must feel prideful in your well-being. Like, I see people showing off cars, I see people showing off houses, and then I'm just like, but then you're not gonna. I don't understand the point of having a fancy house and a fancy car, and then you just don't take care of your own body.
Because you're not even how you. Like,
it doesn't even make sense.
You need to live to enjoy those things.
Yeah.
You need to take care of your body to enjoy those things. 1000%. I think, like I drove all of my 20s. I don't enjoy driving. I think I drove too much and I was just like over it. And so now it's just like, also because everything is in close proximity more or less. And so now I walk and I was like, I can't, if I wanted to buy a car, like I could. But I was like, no, I enjoy walking. I live in an area where it's very healthy, so those people are always walking, always running. Exactly. So I was just like, yeah, I need to keep my body moving.
other people. That's
Yeah.
and I've seen it a lot. Like in many families, African families, like but women they get their validation from being from pleasing their carers or the people around them so much, and then it becomes very hard for you to like, you want to please so much, you feel like it's your world's gonna fall apart if you don't.
Yeah, I had to learn that it was even ungodly to not take care of yourself, to like pour into yourself.
Wow.
Because like the word says that it's out of the overflow of you should be taking care of others.
Can the church say amen?
So once I heard it, I was like, listen, it's even in the scripture. Please leave me alone. I'm going to take care of myself and pour into myself. Yeah. But because like so much of life, especially someone, for example, I'm the oldest child in my family.
You all have a different type of problem.
Listen, God and I still haven't had a conclusion on this conversation, but I was like, Lord, what are the pros of being a firstborn? Because I can see a lot of cons.
Yes, it's
I
tough.
can know the pros as well.
Isn't it tough also because you're like the firstborn, and then depending on who your dad is, like what rank in the family as well.
He's first also.
You see, that's even worse because now, first of all, you are the celebrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, God forbid you do one thing.
Oh yeah, so like you get it the hardest. Like, you know,
I think after a while you'll start to do it yourselves.
I think so too, because it's a training.
Yes.
You know, whether you know it or not, it's like how you're
you are conditioned.
Conditioned, exactly. So you're conditioned from a young age. So like one of the reasons where I was just like, I need distance is because I had to start learning how to like take care of myself first and put the amount of energy that I would put into others into myself.
Ooh, and you put energy
into others a lot.
It also feels like to all the parents and this is why I hate women that say, I want a big family. Who's taking care of them?
Listen.
Who's taking care of them?
Listen, there's so many of us African girls.
If you can afford a nanny for all your kids, don't say please go put on a nappy. It's child abuse to adultify your child.
Children, yeah. I agree. I think people have kids somewhat of like a default setting. Oh, like, you know, once you're married, have kids. Oh, whoa, wait. Like, either way, or just when are you having a child? Oh, when are you doing this? When are you doing that? It's like, that's not a default setting. That needs to be an intentional decision so that the child can be a child. Intentional as in like, you are addressing your problems within your relationship because the child is not the child's responsibility to save things. But it happens so often, you know. So often it's kind of scary. Yeah, it is. And life happens, and then people are left with these children. And sometimes and this is not to judge those that already have the children and don't know. But I'm sure even you would tell someone who was thinking of doing that to not do that. So I think we can stand in solidarity together, especially on behalf of the children. I think if you don't have kids, we're just saying be intentional about the life that child is coming into. The space. The child isn't going to fix things. It doesn't fix anything. Exactly. And if you already have a child, then kind of have the understanding that like let that child be a child. It's your responsibility to like create a conducive space for that child to grow and a safe space for that child. I mean, no one's perfect, so your child's gonna have issues anyway. But you know, either way. I think once you're lifing, you have issues. Exactly. But I think we can do a lot as people to not put a lot on children anymore. I think that's very important. This is for the girlies. You have to, you're not just finding your husband, you're finding, if you want to have kids, you're finding your children's father. Yeah. Like, move like that. You're not finding, you know, these cars and all these things that people tell you about, great, but that comes by proxy, right? Yeah, okay, so I've always been wondering about this because I hear people say that, like they would choose better if they were choosing the father of their child rather than like their husband. What? And it doesn't make sense to me. Like, for me, what? If you're not treating me well, I can't trust you to treat my child well. I've seen people treat their children bad because they look like the other half. So